Fans of Coronation Street believe Carla Connor and Lisa Swain, popularly nicknamed Swarla online, will be highlighted during the soap's 65th anniversary festivities following their engagement. Viewers of the ITV drama have been speculating about which romantic pairing will be featured as part of the milestone celebrations. Details remain scarce about the upcoming landmark occasion for the planet's longest-running television serial, created by the late Tony Warren and first broadcast on the 9th of December 1960. Still, some audience members think they've worked out what lies ahead after the events of Wednesday evening's installment. Regular watchers know that Carla Connor, who has endured the deaths of 2 spouses and divorces from 2 others, began dating Detective Sergeant Lisa Swain back in November of last year. The duo quickly became beloved by fans, widely recognized across social platforms under the name Swarla. Their engagement has seemed inevitable for months, yet each time Carla attempted to propose, circumstances ended up derailing her plans. In the most recent installment, Lisa chose to take control herself and recruited Ryan Connor, Carla's nephew, to serve as her little helper so she could pull off her scheme. While the women at Underworld were busy sewing underwear during the early shift, the sound of police sirens echoed through the narrow streets of Manchester. Lisa's daughter, Betsy, quickly rushed her mother out of the workplace as her name was blasted through a loudspeaker. Carla charged outside to figure out what was happening, with the factory staff trailing behind their manager. Lisa stepped out of the patrol car, shut the door firmly, and took off her officer's cap. Dropping to one knee, she announced, "Carla Connor, you don't get to stay quiet this time, because I've only got one thing I need to ask you. You are the most stunning, fearless, puzzling, complex, and maddening woman I've ever known. My love for you couldn't be stronger. You'd make me the luckiest woman alive if you'd grant me the honor of becoming my wife." Carla lifted Lisa up from the ground, locked eyes with her, and replied, "Yes, of course I'll flaming marry you." The two sealed it with a fiery kiss before Betsy and Ryan rushed over, wrapping them in a heartfelt embrace on the cobblestones. The machinists erupted in applause, and Carla and Lisa wasted no time heading to the cafe to share the joyful news with Roy Cropper. Roy, who has long been a trusted confidant to Carla, was asked once again to escort her down the aisle, her 3rd wedding walk, but the moment turned bittersweet as he was reminded of his late wife Haley and their own marriage. Haley had ended her life in 2014 after a painful fight with pancreatic cancer. Roy told Lisa and Carla, "Marrying Haley was the most meaningful and rewarding chapter of my life, so I truly hope you both find the same joy." It wasn't long before celebrations carried over to the Rovers. A lighthearted scene followed when Sally Metcalf felt compelled to remind Carla and Lisa that her daughter Sophie, who hasn't appeared on the street since actress Brooke Vincent's departure in 2019, also happens to be gay. Lisa quipped, "That's great. If we ever need advice, we'll know exactly who to ask," though Sally didn't quite catch that it was a gag. After sipping a glass of bubbly, Sally proudly added, "My Sophie always says the best part of being a lesbian is going bra shopping together." Carla mischievously teased Sally into believing that one of Underworld's suppliers offered a special bra discount for lesbian couples, leaving her fooled for a moment before realizing she'd been had. After the long-awaited proposal, viewers quickly took to social media to express their excitement. One fan suggested that Carla and Lisa could be central to the soap's 65th anniversary, hoping their wedding would be woven into the milestone storyline. They posted, "That proposal was beautiful and absolutely Swarla, through and through. Hopefully we'll see a winter or Christmas wedding to line up with the 65th anniversary in December. Of course there'll be drama, but with Swarla there always is. Corrie." Another enthusiast responded with, "Ooh, if a Swarla wedding is the big moment chosen to celebrate Corrie's 65th anniversary episode, I'm paying attention." A third viewer also wished for the nuptials to be held during the December anniversary period. If the ceremony goes ahead, it would mark the first lesbian marriage in the soap's history to actually reach the altar. They pleaded, Please let Hatch Swarla have the first full lesbian wedding on Hack Corrie at Christmas, without a tragic ending this time. We don't need another Rana situation. Coronation Street's Todd confronts Theo and demands he go after suffering mistreatment. Todd Grimshaw was left shaken in Coronation Street earlier this week after becoming the target of boyfriend Theo Silverton's fury. Both men had endured rough days. Todd tried to clear his head with a pint at the Rovers following an especially heartbreaking funeral he had arranged. At the same time, Theo attended a tense mediation session with his estranged wife Danielle Silverton over custody of their children. The ordeal was made even more unbearable by the presence of her new partner Noah, the same man who had once subjected Theo to conversion therapy in his youth. Theo had intended to go home and confide in Todd, but those plans were disrupted when the undertaker opted for a night at the pub instead. Although Theo phoned and told him to stay put, his tone made it obvious he was far from pleased. Matters grew worse when Theo discovered that Todd was drinking with Billy Mayhew, and tensions reached boiling point once Todd finally arrived back at the flat. In harrowing moments, Todd endured a barrage of insults from Theo before being cruelly forced to eat kebab meat by his partner. After the shocking outburst, Theo declared he was moving out and spent the night sleeping in his van. In this evening's installment, Theo was set on making amends with Todd, but grew increasingly agitated when his calls and texts went unanswered. After lashing out at Gary Windus, Theo crossed paths with Billy, sparking a fraught exchange. Billy eventually managed to calm him enough for Theo to open up about what had triggered his explosive behavior the night before the builder urged him to speak directly with Todd and give him the chance to explain himself. Though reluctant, the vicar agreed, and soon found himself sitting opposite Todd in the Rovers. After passing on Theo's words, Billy was caught off guard when Todd asked for his honest view of the relationship. While making clear that the decision wasn't his to make, Billy confessed that Todd hadn't seemed like his usual self since getting involved with Theo, leaving Todd with plenty to mull over. When Theo finally arrived at the pub to say sorry, Todd consented to a conversation, but made it clear it had to be in private. As Todd tried to process why Theo had sought out Billy's support, he demanded to know whether Theo was ready to take ownership of his disgraceful conduct from the previous night. When Theo attempted to suggest they were equally to blame, Todd was horrified, confessing that he genuinely feared his partner might kill him. As Theo continued to deny accountability, Todd demanded that he leave, making it clear he needed space to figure things out. But will Todd finally cut ties with Theo for good, or will Theo find a way to sneak back into his life and regain his trust? Coronation Street broadcasts Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes also available on ITVX and YouTube.